This is Good Morning Mumbai with Hrishi K.
Aaboo Varghese from Purnata comes highly recommended. Richa Chadda, the actress, said that I have to get him on air simply because he's rescued so many girls, and not just rescue them but rehabilitate them. And here he is. Hi Aaboo, welcome to the show. Thank you for sparing time to come here. I know you're a very busy man and you have a higher calling, but it's wonderful to see you.
Thanks, Hrishi, for this time, and I'm glad to be here also and waiting to tell my story.
What is Purnata and what are you involved with?
Purnata is an end-to-end program that is committed to end human trafficking. And while a lot of people, what we recognize is a lot of trafficking work that happens is to do with rescue and rehabilitation. While that is very important, we recognize the need to do prevention, because when one gets rescued, another 100 get trafficked. And so if you look at statistics, trafficking is just increasing. Human trafficking seems to increase every year. And the current scenario, the recent global survey, global slavery index that came out, mentions that there are 45 million people who are enslaved in the world today, and out of which at least 18 million are from India. So it's a huge population we're talking about. Almost half the world's slaves are in India. So Purnata is committed to end trafficking, and so we have an end-to-end program that works in the area of in the source areas, where we believe this is about demand and supply because it's a multi-billion-dollar business. And so in the source areas, we are committed to see how we can reduce the vulnerability of potential victims of trafficking. And in the destinations, we are committed to see how we can decrease the demand for trafficking, working with the demand creators. And on transit, when they're taken from source to destination, they're usually taken to railway stations or to buses and various means. So what we do is we also have surveillance happening at certain points to see when children are being brought into the city for sale, we're able to rescue them before they are sold. So it's like an end-to-end program which covers the entire gamut of what trafficking is about. And right now in Mumbai, we are focused a little bit on rescue and rehabilitation because of the great need that is there, especially in terms of the volume of numbers we're talking about who are being trafficked and those who are being rescued, and then we don't have proper places. So we felt the need for creating a space where we could have more people being blessed to that.
Talk to me about the source areas. Are these, rural India, or is it shockingly so urban India and tier 2 cities?
It's a lot to do with vulnerability because of poverty, because of natural calamity, because of gender inequality and various other reasons. Migration plays a big part in this. Actually, migration you can't stop because people will migrate, but unsafe migration we can stop, and we see a lot of unsafe migration happening around the country from one part to the other, especially from rural India to or even semi-urban cities towards big cities with greater opportunities. So they come here with big dreams and then they are lost.
What a pity. And the destination would be brothels or individual houses. What would be the destinations?
So the destination are the big cities where opportunities exist, and Mumbai is one of the big opportunities for them. So brothels are one. There are dance bars. Then you can talk about child labor, where you have restaurants and factories and dhabas, that are employing children like that. Then you also have children being brought for child beggary. It's a big thing that's happening. Then domestic work is one big thing because the urban middle class getting more busy and both husband and wife working. There is a need for people to look after people in the home, and so there's exploitation happening there also. There are a lot of recruitment agencies that come up and bring in people and they traffic them.
What a pity. Black Horse and the Cherry Tree. KT Tunstall up ahead. He's going to tell us about a bungalow on the hill. It's 10:18. Aaboo Varghese from Purnata is here. KT Tunstall, Black Horse and the Cherry Tree at 10:20. Aaboo Varghese. He works in the area of human trafficking. Like he said, it's a mammoth issue. And India is so high on the list of trafficking. He not only has an end-to-end program, but rehabilitation is prime on the agenda for Purnata, which is his organization. A bungalow on the hill. What is it, Aaboo? Tell us about the project.
About a year back, we started work in one of the red light areas in Mumbai. We started a daycare center and a drop-in center. And within 6 months, we started winning the trust of many of the girls, and we started finding many of them very young ones, like maybe 20, 22, 24, and they were wanting to leave and they wanted to do something because many of them are trapped there without hope. And when we offered a glimmer of hope, because at our center we provide small skills like tailoring and English and Hindi literacy programs, we had dance classes, and we had sometimes jewelry making. So these are various things that attracted them, and where there was no hope, we were able to kind of instill some hope and some desire to do something with their lives. And that's when we realized that when they moved from there, we needed a space. And when we were just thinking about it, and I was just looking, sharing the need around, one of my friends just came up and said, I've got a flat in Versailles, and you could just start using that for now till you get a bigger bungalow as you're looking for. I was looking for a bungalow in Andheri or somewhere in the suburbs, but where it is more accessible and easy to for the girls to commute. That's when we got this flat and we started the program, and already we've had about 4 girls stay there, and the 5th one also, and it's just been 6 months and we've seen the program grow. And then we saw the growth, we realized that we need the bungalow soon, and when we were thinking about that, that's when Richa happened to come alongside us and stand with us, and we're just grateful for her taking the time and presence, and especially the hard work she's put in to make this campaign. So she's come alongside us and she supported us, and this campaign is her campaign actually, to help us raise money for that bungalow. We are expecting at least 15 girls to be able to stay there. We're looking at a program that is going to be comprehensive, because we also have a training center being set up in Andheri, Ghatkopar area, and where easy commuting is happening. And so we're going to see a program that is really going to establish these girls for a future that's solid.
I have personally gone last week and contributed, and just for everybody who's listening who wants to go to contribute for the rehabilitation, for a bungalow on the hill for these trafficked ladies, where can they go? Aaboo, just give us the website, the details, everything.
Yeah, it's www.keto.org /support Divya. So basically it's a keto campaign that is there for our crowdfunding campaign, which Richa has teamed up with and helping to support Purnata for that bungalow.
So keto.org, go there and you'll see a bungalow on the hill.
Search under Human Trafficking for Purnata.
Search under Human Trafficking for Purnata, and you can go and make your contribution, however big or small. And Purnata itself, can you give out the website? Is there a Facebook page? Is there a Twitter handle? All those details, please.
Yes, all of them have a handle with www.facebook.com/Purnata.org. No dot Purnata.org, and same thing for Twitter. And the website is Purnata.org.
There are also stories of hope. There are a few ladies who have been trafficked who are now enjoying, who've joined the mainstream, and you've really gone out of your way to help them and rehabilitate them. So tell us the stories of hope.
Yeah, so I'll just tell you a story of Divya. I used to work in another organization called Oasis earlier, and I've been involved in her rehabilitation since then, and we've helped her to come a long way. And since the time I've started Purnata, she's continued to be with us and be part of our work. So what she's done is she comes. So let me just start by telling you something about her. She was trafficked at the age of 6. Was brought from a small town in Assam and brought to India by a neighbor and sold to a family, and a Nepali family, and they were kept over there, and she was kept there to look after the home and doing various things. But she was given hope that she would be studying, but she didn't get a chance to study. And so when they used to beat her and ill-treat her and stuff like that, after 2-3 years they actually sold her again into the brothels, and where she was made to go for dance bars and various other activities, and slowly she was being prepared to a life of prostitution. And she will narrate her story, where you can see it on the website, on the Keto campaign page. There's a video that talks about that, and so she shares her story there. And what happens is she's beaten, she's drugged, they use cigarette butts on her body, they torture her, they do various things, and they put her in small rooms like cages which has just bars and with very little light. And that's the kind of hopelessness that she was put into. And at a very young age of 13-14, there was one time a police raid. A customer came and who was very nice, and he helped her to complain to the police. But when the police came, they have trap doors and they have cupboards and various hiding places where they lock the girls up, and so she was locked in a cupboard, and when she was locked there and the police came, they couldn't find her. So she tried to make some noise and they opened the door. Somehow they broke the door open and they got her out from there, and she was taken to a government home shelter where she was taken care of, and that's where we found her. And from then on, her story has been amazing, because she's gone on to become a hairstylist today, and she has a dream of setting up her own salon one day. And one of the beautiful things is, in a place like Mumbai, where very difficult to get housing, she's got her own house today in the suburbs of Mumbai. And that's the thing, that she's today, right now while I'm speaking, she's in the red light area with on her off day, she's with us trying to teach the girls some skills, and also doing haircuts for the girls who are there, so that she can be a blessing to them.
Wonderful.
One story.
God bless you, Aaboo, and God bless Purnata and everything that you're doing. It's 10 sharp. You wanted to say something else? Yeah.
One more story?
Yeah. We're going to come back. Post this, we're going to take some messages, and we're going to come back, and there's going to be another story, a very touching story of what Purnata and Aaboo is involved with. We're talking human trafficking this morning, and like I said, there is light at the end of the tunnel as long as people like Aaboo and Purnata are around. 10:27 in the morning. I'm Hrishi K. Aaboo Varghese from Purnata is here. It's a wonderful initiative called A Bungalow on the Hill, where he's trying to save trafficked girls and rehabilitate them. You were beginning to tell me about another story, another rescue story, and how you were able to rehabilitate a trafficked girl. And I interrupted you. Tell us, complete that story, please.
Well, we had a girl called Roshni. Just note that I changed names for their identity's sake. Yeah. She was from Bangladesh. She came in to the area that we were working in, and very young girl, 23, 24. She's very good looking, fair, and we kept talking to her day in and day out, but she would keep ignoring us or not talking to us. It took some time for us to get through to her, but finally one day she herself came to us after several weeks of working with her and inviting us. She would come for some dance classes, something here and there, but generally kept away from talking to us. And one fine day she just came to us by herself, and she said, I want to share about my life. And she came and shared her whole story to us. And this is what she said. She was 11 or 12 when her parents got her married to an older man who was already married, and after that she got messed up with that man because he was older and he used to ill-treat her. So within less than a year, she went back to her parents. But her parents, as usual, said that your place is not here, your place should be with your husband. And so she wouldn't have a place to go to. And then that's when somebody came and said that we are going to Mumbai, we'll get you a good job. And so she came along with that man and his supposed wife, and they came all the way to Mumbai. They came to Thane, and in Thane, when she went to this man's house, there were a lot of other men who were there playing cards and gambling, and they were drinking. And then when she says about how she couldn't stand the smell of all that, but then they insisted that she drinks, and so they actually literally closed her nose and they made her drink hard whiskey, and she got conked off. She was not able to know what happened, and when she woke up a few hours later, the other girl said that she was gang raped by all those men there, and that was just the initiation of the whole thing. And after that, every day she would have to go to a lodge in an auto rickshaw, come back in the auto, and there she would be meeting at least several customers, 10, 15, 20 customers a day. And she said that there are at least 30 other girls there, so it's not just her alone. And she also mentioned to us that she used to make easily 1 lakh rupees a month, and so it was a very lucrative thing for the traffickers. The traffickers would never give her anything, so basically the 1 lakh would go to them and she would get nothing except food and stay. And so that was going on for a year, and then it went on. She ran away from there to another man. He gave some money, 10, 15,000, but he made all the money, and that went on. Exploitation went on year after year until she was one day caught. And she was before she was caught, actually she had loved a man, and this man seemed to tell her that that I will marry you and things like that. But finally she got pregnant, and when she called him one day, he was in his hometown, and apparently a lady picked up, and that happened to be his wife, and that's when she realized that he is married. And these are stories that keep getting repeated again and again. Every girl seems to have the desire to settle down there, and somehow they end up with men who are only just exploiting them, or men who are only cheating them or lying to them. And what happened is she came to a place where she didn't want to abort the baby, but then that man insisted, and so she aborted, and that went on again, second time also recently, and in between she was caught and taken back, and different things happened. But to cut the whole story short, her life in the last 10-12 years has been of an exploitation from the age of 13. And right now she came to our home. One day after the pregnancy, she aborted the baby, and she finally said, I want to come to get some new life. And if you see the video on the Keto page, you'll find the same video where her story is being shared. So Roshni is another example of somebody who's going to training right now, and there's another girl called Pinky who's actually moved on, and she's right now in an export company working, and she's actually earning 8 to 10,000 rupees a month, and she's got PF, she's got medical insurance, she's got various other things. So there are Purnata has been only 2 years set up, but I think in the last 1.5 years we've seen tremendous growth and tremendous things happening, simply because we've seen amazing responses. Because I think when we work genuinely, when we work with sincerity, God opens up doors for us.
How are you rehabilitating these girls? What are the skill sets you're giving them? You told me about Divya, again name changed, who you've helped with getting haircutting skills or salon skills. How are you helping them get into the mainstream in terms of skill sets?
We ensure that they are learning basic literacy in English and Hindi, especially because when they move around, they should not be taken advantage of. So they should know some basic stuff. So that's something that we teach. We teach them general knowledge because, for example, they need to know why do they get a holiday on August 15th, or things like that, some basic stuff. Then we also teach them life skills, how to survive in various situations. Because they have been used to a certain kind of a lifestyle, they need to totally be reoriented and rewired. Because a lot of times, like they sleep very late, they get up very late, they have been used to just fighting and just setting up, their lives have been very messed up. And right now, when they're trying to get into a life of discipline, they need to learn a lot of things, and they have to actually unlearn a lot of things before they learn things. And so one of the things the life skills do is teach them how to handle conflict, about their own identity and understanding who they are and how precious they are, and how they have dignity, and though they have been commodified, right now they are people with dignity. And so these are just some things that we teach them. But then finally we teach them a proper skill, and that could be varying skills based on their ability to pick up things, their language, motor, numeracy, and all these various skills that are there. So we do an assessment, and based on that we would kind of recommend job opportunities for them. So tailoring is one opportunity, because there is a company that is already set up for girls like this by a friend of mine. There are baking opportunities to get into baking, and especially into high class, like making good cakes and various other things that by another friend of ours. And then we have opportunities to do housekeeping and various other things in 5-star hotels where they could get into. So there are 5-star hotels willing to do the training for us, so we've got connections for that. So we have various other things, so whether it's hair salon or beautician, so various things can be provided. There are some things we provide, but beyond what we can provide, we connect with others who already provide, so we don't duplicate things.
Donna Lewis, I love you always forever. 10:45. My name is Hrishi K. Pictures of Aaboo Varghese already up on Twitter as well as Facebook at HRISHIKY on Twitter. Tweet under those pictures if you have any comments or questions. HRISHIKY on Facebook. Likewise, you can post under those pictures. Facebook.com/radio1.mum is our official page. Leave a comment on the timeline or inbox, and one space your comment or question and name to 53650. 53650 is the in-studio SMS line. I'm Hrishi K. 10:45. Backpost this for a last leg of conversation with Aaboo. Donna Lewis, I love you always forever. 10:49. I'm Hrishi K. With me in studio is Aaboo Varghese. He runs Purnata. We're talking human trafficking, some touching, heart-wrenching cases that he's come across in his struggle to rehabilitate these ladies. and he just talked about a bungalow on the hill. How can we bring a paradigm shift in our thinking and rehabilitate these women, Aaboo? And you talked about how you are rehabilitating, but us, our ideology and our paradigm shift. And also, what's your aim as far as these women and children are concerned? Where do you want to see them?
I find that a lot of times society looks down on them and looks at them as bad people. I think we need to change our thinking. They are not. They are not the people who are the problem. They are victims of man's lust and greed and everything else that creates this issue of human trafficking. And I think one of the things that I found is that when we start looking at them as victims rather than the people who are the problem, I think we will start looking at them differently. But then I think we need to go on further from looking at them as victims to look at them as survivors, because what I see them as victim is like a word which makes you feel vulnerable and hopeless, and you can't do anything. But we look at them once they come make a step to move on in life. We look at them as survivors, as people who are boldly taking a stand in society. They are saying no to the traffickers. They are saying no to their perpetrators. They are saying no, we don't want to give our body. We don't for any Tom, Dick and Harry. They're saying that we want to make something of our lives. And so we look at them as people who are survivors, brave women who have taken a great stand, and we respect them and salute them for that. But I think again, what we want to see when they come into our care is move from being a survivor to actually being a contributor to society. See, it's one thing to receive and go somewhere in life, but another thing we want to see is that they are becoming people who contribute in other people's lives, and especially in other women who are like them. And Divya is one of them who's already taken a stand and who's doing that today in her life. And we believe that we want to see many, many more girls like that whose lives are going to be transformed in such a way that they are not. This is transformation for us, that they move from being seen as a problem to being a victim, and from a victim to be a survivor, and from a survivor to be actually a contributor in society and doing something drastic. So that's about how I want to see a paradigm shift in people's lives.
What motivates you personally, Aaboo? I mean, you've been doing this almost with a vengeance. Again, you rescued 3 girls in Pune. I mean, there's got to be something that drives you towards this particular cause.
Yeah, just 2 days back we did a rescue in Pune along with another NGO, partner NGO, and we found 3 girls were rescued, 3 minor girls were rescued. What drives me is about 32 years back I had a personal encounter with Jesus Christ. My life changed, and since then I've been a man on a mission, wanting to serve people. I wanted to do something that makes a difference in people's lives, and I've started with working with young people to moving on to trafficking, because when I kept hearing stories of the trafficked girls, my heart would break, just to think about each and every one of them, how they would be my little sister or my little daughter or something like that, and I just couldn't bear it. And so I felt that something has to be done, and so I know I can't change the whole world and I can't end trafficking alone, but I think together with others and with having this mission in mind, I knew that we could do it. And so I've taken my step that I could take, and I'm sure that working with others, we would see an end to human trafficking. So this is my mission. This is because it's something which is bigger than me. It is from God, because I believe that my relationship with Jesus matters here. Yeah.
Fantastic. And just your parting thoughts, Aaboo, to everybody who's listening.
Yeah. One of the things that happened in March this year was the first girl we rescued finished her training, and we put her. She had a guy who was a boyfriend in the area, and they were living together. So we had told them that if you do your training well, and if you still want to continue, we would help you get married. And so they waited, and after 4 months we got them married. And the beautiful thing about that was we were able to take 25 girls from the red light area we work in, along with another 10 children, and we booked a bus and we took them for the wedding. And one of my board members mentioned like this when they heard the story, that hope was on display there, because all the girls saw from where to where this girl has come, from being abused and cheated and lied to over there, to finishing her training, then she got a job, and then she got married, and after that she got a job. We not only did that, we got them a small house, a rented house. We paid a deposit for them. We set up the house. We small things in the house for them. They started life. Now they live together in Nalasupara. They've got a support system because there are other friends of ours who are being a support to them and giving them counsel and guidance and stuff like that. So I mean, that's the story of hope. I find when I think three things would make me happy when I see this bungalow on the hill come to fruit. Number one, we want to see that each and every of these girls who come into our care are given such care that they are and training that they are able to go on to become people who are setting up their own. I mean, especially we want them to be stable in viable jobs, number one. So that's important because they stay in a job, because often they don't stay in a job. So our training has to be so thorough that they are able to stay in a job. And number two, we want them to be able to set up families like this, get married, be part of normal life. Mainstreaming them back into society is something that is so critical. And thirdly, as I said before, we want them to be contributors in society, so that they are going to be people that nobody even recognize their background. We don't have to talk about their background. We want to get them moving on in such a life that nobody is able to even know that. And then they become people who are change agents in this world and bring transformation.
So it's www.purnata.org, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Purnata. Yeah. And they go on to keto.org and then search for human trafficking. The campaign will come up and be a part of this wonderful initiative by Aaboo Varghese. Thanks for your time. Cheers.
Thank you.
All the best to you. Yeah. Messages and back with Gulpanag's Get Some Sun Season 3, the road trip special. I'm Hrishi K, 10:56 live on the clock.
Go!
Going to Facebook. 94.3.